Friends, personal greetings. My name is Peterson Sentenga, and I'm going to share with you different topics about marriage and family. This morning, we want to center on a topic which is very important to me and to you: happy home, a happy church. How do you have a happy home? Everyone would wish to have a happy home. In the book of Psalms, chapter 127, verse 1, it says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, its builders labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchmen stand guard in vain. In vain you rise and stay up late, toiling for food to eat. For he grants sleep to those he loves. Sons are a heritage from the Lord, children a reward from him." So what is a home? Home is among the holiest of worlds. A true home, according to Ellen G. White, is one of the most sacred places. It is a sanctuary into which men flee from the world's perils and alarms. It is a resting place to which, at the close of the day, the weary retire to gather new strength for the battle and toils of the morning. A home is a place where love learns its lessons, where life is schooled into discipline and strength, where character is molded. Out of the homes of the community comes the life of the community, the life of a church, as a river from the thousand springs that gushes out on the hillside. So the well-being of the society, the success of the church, the prosperity of the nation depend upon home influence. In the book Adventist Home, chapter 15, says, home should be made all that the word implies. It should be a little heaven upon earth, a place where the affections are cultivated into instead of being studiously placed. The company which the young now keep, the habits they now form, and the principles they now adopt are the index to the state of the society for the years to come. And harmony, and that is a heaven for all its residents. It is a place where people feel good and where they want to spend time. There are people, when they are coming home, they don't feel good. They are scared to come home. Both children could be scared to come home because they're scared of daddy or mommy. A wife can be scared to come home because of her husband. A man can be scared to come home because of the nagging wife. So home should be a place where you feel comfortable. How is that home developed? The answer is one word: Christ. You should have a Christ-centered home. So Christ should be in your choices when you first look for a wife or for a husband. How do you choose a wife? How do you choose a husband? Have you involved Christ in that choice? That's where families begin. Now, along the years of life, Christ should stay in that relationship. Many families fail, and one may ask, but why do Christian families fail? Yes, I could be going to church and my wife could be going to church, but that does not mean that we have a Christ-centered family. We could be coming to church and both of us are not talking. We could be at home and we are fighting, but when we reach in church, we show smiles. We are a different people. Is that a Christ-centered home you'd like to have? If you have a Christ-centered home, it is a secret. It is that secrecy of Christ-centered home when everybody sees it. But more so, the residents, the husband, the children, the father, the mother should see it. You can be a great preacher, a great orator, a great manager, but if at home people know that you are a tyrant, you are a big problems, that is not going to be a home. it is going to be a house. There is a difference between a home and a house. A home is a place where people feel comfortable. A house is just a shelter. So it doesn't matter. You could be having a car of so much money. You could be having a house of a millionaire. If there is no happiness, that will remain a house, not a home. Please get it. There's a difference between a house and a home. When God has joined and put you together, that is a home. So it does not, and that home does not come because you have made all these ceremonies in the church. You have pledged your vows. You have put on each other a ring. And the pastor says, the minister says, what God has put together, let no man put asunder. And that's a benediction. That's fine. Those are ceremonies in the church. But it is how you are going to translate those ceremonies that will make a difference. How are you going to make that? So happiness does not come from mere ceremonies. Happiness, let me tell you the secret. Happiness is planned for. It is lived for. It is sacrificed for. It is prayed for. And oftentimes suffered for. So you want a family, you should be ready to plan for it, live for it, sacrifice. You should be able to have prayers for it. You should be able to suffer for it if it is necessary. I'll give you simple keys. A key is the one you open. Simple keys for happy families. Number one, know who you are. It's a Sentenga family. Do we know who we are? And that will involve us defining our values consistently and live by those standards. So if you build a stronger family identity, that will help you to reduce conflict. The values, who am I? What do we believe in? Certain values fall in place naturally. If you are married, you and your husband probably committed to each other in the first place. However, research insists on not simply letting your values evolve on its own, but rather deliberately shaping and naming your core principles. Everybody knows. It's like school rules. Everybody knows. So defining your values together can not only reinforce a lot of qualities that brought you together, but it can also help steer you in times when you feel conflicted. Knowing that you are prioritizing new experiences. For example, you might decide to pull your children out of school because you're going for the camp meeting. So you say it's camp meeting time, children, you are going out of school. Or a family trip. While another family might say, no, we are not going to put the children out because of camp meeting. No, education comes first. That's their value. Someone might pull the children because they want to go for a vacation, a holiday. Somebody says, no, a holiday is not important. So it's the values that you put. Number two, you have to enjoy each other. You have to enjoy each other. My family, the Sentenga family, the family of your family, must enjoy each other. That means you must truly uplift each other. At all times, treat each other fairly. There is a joy that characterizes their interaction. Parents come home and the kids are happy. And when the kids come home, the parents are happy. When you come home and the children want to take cover, they want to go to bed, then you know there is no happiness. As a family that swaps stories together. When you were growing up, grandmothers and grandparents used to tell us stories. And we used to like those stories. It's important to swap stories. They could be Bible stories, they could be any story, but it's important to swap stories so that each one smears the relationship together. Give time to each other. Many times, many of us give time to work. We go in the morning, children are sleeping. We come back, children are already in bed. Those who have people at work who work for them, like maids, they are the ones who own these children. You never see them. They are the ones who feed them or misfeed them. They do all sorts of things. They can do things that you don't even know. But give your time to your children. Know that this is my time with my family, with my wife, with my children, with my husband, so that you prioritize your time. By the way, we live in this world shortly, so we should make our life here much more comfortable. Put your marriage first. That's number 4. Put your marriage first. Set a real example of love. Your marriage must come first. There are many families where children come first. My children, my children, my children. But mind you, those children will grow and go. So if you don't know your husband for the last 20 years, you are spending your time more with your children. When you are left together, then you look at each other, you've never known each other. That's why many people divorce, even when you hear they are married for 40 years and they are divorced, because all of a sudden, the children who are cementing that relationship, they have grown and gone. Number 5, eat together. Families that eat together, stay together. It's that simple. Dinner with your children. It is time to connect. Have a minimum of 4 family dinners per week if it is possible. If you're working far, that's fine. But please work together. Number 6, play together. Have games that bring you together. I know so many of us, especially men, don't want to interact with smaller children under 5. You are only leave them with their mothers. But it's important to pray with those children. It's important to pray with us teenagers, to have games, Bible quizzes, Bible stories, reading stories together, doing things together. Keep up with modern technology. Those of you who have children who are young, keep up with modern technology. So you play games together. You know what is happening. Families, number 7, put your family before your friends and before your extended family. In happy families, families come before friends. Give rules, but understand kids need fun too. When kids get bored and restless, friendship is important to bring them together. Yes, you can punish your children. Yes, you can have misunderstanding in the family, but you should have friends, families before friends, families before the church, families before anything. God will ask you about your families. He's not going to ask you about ask you about your children, your husband, your wife. It's not going to ask you about your mother and mother-in-law and brothers. No. Number 8, keep your voices down. Don't discipline when you are angry. Even if you have misunderstanding between husband and wife, it does not help when you shout at each other. It is better to calm down, sit down, compose yourself, and talk. Find time to talk. Don't shout at each other, because that will not help. Don't shout at the children. That will not help. And also number 9, when daddy and mommy disagree, when there's a misunderstanding between mommy and daddy, don't fight in front of your children. If your kids see you fight and argue, apologize and say, we are sorry. Because when you fight, you are making them to say, they love daddy, they love mommy. If you fight, where do you want them to go? So it's not a good thing to start fighting. Find a time to organize yourselves. And point number 10, pray and study the Word of God together. Interest your children in the Word of God by studying with them, by doing lessons with them, appropriate lesson from each age, and enroll them in the Pathfinder clubs. Find time for morning and evening devotion, and both dad and mommy can lead. And when the children are old, they can also help you in leading the devotion. Be patient. Number 11. Patience is a virtue. It's a very important lesson. Be patient. Children are not the same. I'm going to talk about parenting before the end of these sessions. But children are not the same. So don't compare them. If one is obedient, one is not. Mind you, some of those children took your habits, and they are like exactly like daddy. The way you used to be stubborn is the way they are. So be patient with them. A family divided. This is a scenario I want to read for you and tell you. One day, a father could not forgive his son for departing from the path he had been taught. The boy had friends the father did not approve, and he had many things contrary to what his father thought he should do. This caused a rift between the father and the son, and as soon as the boy was old enough, he left home and never returned. They didn't speak again. Did the father feel justified? Perhaps. Did the son feel justified? Perhaps. So we'll also look at the issues of parenting. So as we part, may I say that it's very important to create this sort of family. And when you have such a lovely family, when families are happy to, so is the church. A happy, lovely church is that one you don't want to miss. The service, the fellowship, where you feel valued and wanted, where there is love and care. The absence of gossip and backbiting is observed. Such churches are Christ-centered churches. So are the homes. You go into that church, you go into that home, and you know there is Christ in that home. So may God bless you. May God bless us. Let's wait for tomorrow. You don't want to miss tomorrow. I'll bring an important topic. Come in tomorrow. You listen to it. God bless you.